Hi friends, it's Cat and Chats here, and it is August 14th, 2029, 2021, and it is about 12:20. So, I haven't made a video for a while, and I thought maybe I'd finish up this book. I don't think I've got a whole lot more pages. Isn't that cute? Dog and cat hugging. Anyways, let me see what I've got here. Here, I've got a big page. I have not been into my glue booking or anything recently, but I know that I need to be, because it kind of gives me something to just kind of mess around with. So I'm just going to put this whole picture right here. Don is home, and so is Kendall. Don's enjoying his quiet Saturday. We had our almost 6, well, she's more than 15 and a half, and she's going to be getting her driver's license. Granddaughter Gwenny, and we had her for Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday. Golly, this is another reason I need to make a vlog to kind of get myself back into talking and socializing a little bit. I have not been very good at that. I think I've been kind of hiding out from the world, which is okay to a point, but after a while you start losing some of your communication and people skills. I mean, your family always loves you no matter what, or at least mine does, but just to talk to other people that's not in the family, like you guys or anybody else, I need to kind of get back to it. So, what have you guys been up to? You kept up with your interests, unlike moi. I didn't even, usually I'll try to organize my table so that I know what I need to reach for. I don't know where my favorite crinkle scissors are. Here they are. Sometimes I just like to use these to, I go all the way around a picture, but sometimes just to put an edge on it. So if you tuned in for me to say something brilliant, it's probably not going to happen. But I will tell you what I did with my granddaughter. I don't know how, if you have grandchildren or even children, if they ever care to know anything about your growing up or your childhood. I mean, like, if they would ask. I always cared about the adults in my life and what their life had been like and that type of thing. But I've noticed that the grandchildren don't really seem curious as to whether I had a life before anybody. So I decided I would, I have 2 areas that I grew up in. One's Dayton and the other's Xenia. First it was Xenia and then Dayton. And my grandmother lived in Xenia, and I grew up there from, I mean, there was a few moves in between until we got to Dayton, which I was in 3rd grade when we got to Dayton. But from birth to 5, I lived in my grandparents' house along with my mom, because her and my dad had separated and then got divorced right after I was born. So I was very, very close to my grandparents, well, my grandmother, I should say. And then their marriage split up when I was 5. And we moved from West Virginia to Xenia. And I lived with my grandmother off and on until she passed away 2 weeks after I graduated high school. So my grandmother was a huge part of my life. Huge. Like everything to me. And I know I'm important to my grandchildren, but like, and I don't know if it was because I was an only child, but I love to sit and hear my grandmother talk about her family and her growing up years. And I've never had that with my grandchildren. And by the way, this says, God sees a winner. When I feel like a loser. Aww. I think we all feel like losers at different times. Apparently that's the name of somebody's book or article. I don't know, because I just cut it out. Anyway, so picked up my granddaughter on Thursday and we drove to Xenia and I showed her relatives' houses, my houses, my grandmother's house, because my mom and I did live in a house there by ourselves at one point. Showed her my school that I used to walk to. I showed her the path I walked it. Showed her the pond there that I fell in with my cousin, and we didn't know if we were gonna make it out alive. Well, that's not gonna work, is it? But I kind of like that there. Let's see if I do it to the edge, which is where this girl came in. I think I'll do that. Told her different childhood memories, even showed her where this ice cream place used to be, and that was the first place my mother ever just gave me some money. And she sat in the car and she said, go and get our ice cream. You know, she wanted me to be brave enough to go order the ice cream by myself and to watch out for the change. She probably gave me $1. It was enough for 2 ice creams, and then I had to get whatever change came back, because change would have come back. But they've since tore it down, which I was devastated. And my uncle, who was always very good to my grandmother and us, he had a really nice house just outside of Xenia, and they have tore it down and let woods grow up. And it was a nice house. It was a nice ranch, probably built, probably in the late 50s. So it wasn't old. It was very nice. It was, like back then, was considered, you know, you had to have some money to live in a house like that. But that wasn't there, so that was a little sad. Oh well, let's see. I can still see. I went over 2 pages, so even though this went into that page, I'm still just gonna just cut it. It'll be on the back side of the other page. There is no right or wrong to any of this. I like all her freckles and her brown hair and eyes, and look at the teeth. I can't even imagine having teeth like that. So beautiful. So anyways, my granddaughter's name's Gwen, and she seemed to really enjoy it. And I'm gonna take a drink. Oh, I was thirsty. And what it did for us is it just opened up bands of being able to talk about things, conversations. And she told me her thoughts on being a teenager and her home life, which she has 5 siblings and herself, so there's 6 altogether, which was vastly different than mine with none. I did show her a couple places that my 2 cousins and I, where they were boys, where they lived, and they like to, I don't know if they believed it or not, I thought they did, but I showed her at the end of this alley, and it looks like a nice historic kind of home now, but they had me convinced that was a haunted house, and a really bad man lived there that didn't like children, and so you better not be caught on his property, which the sidewalk was pretty much up to the front door. And of course, if you rode down the alley on your bike, it was just a little narrow alley, and we were always scared that we were gonna somehow get our bikes on his property and he's gonna come out and capture us and eat us. Now, I never ever saw the man that lived there, so most likely my cousins were just trying to scare me, but it worked. So I told her about those, and it was a nice time. So the next day, which was yesterday, Friday, I was going to take her to all my Dayton stomping grounds, which I have a whole lot more of those. I still probably had about at least a dozen in Xenia to show her, maybe a little bit more. But in Dayton, I have a whole lot more, because that's even where I raised my kids, and went 3rd grade through college, and lived in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different places. But when we woke up Friday, or she woke up late, I think she wants to be not an illustrator, an animator. And she was really into this she's really into this Japanese anime show. Isn't that cool? I like that. It says couldn't. Question mark, and she looks like she's studying it. So I couldn't get her motivated for nothing, and I realized I didn't try really hard because I was trying to let her call the shots for the visit, but I just realized that she was probably had enough of going through even though it gave her a chance to talk, going through my memories. So I thought, oh, we'll do it another time. I've only got probably, I would think, one other grandchild that really is into maybe what happened in my life. They're just not at that place yet. They're teenagers getting their own feet and figuring out their own lives, and I understand that. But like I said, from an early age, I could have told you everything about my grandmother and more of my grandparents and history and the stories that she told me that I still hold dearly to this day. So we sat around and she watched her anime, Japanese soap opera until 5:30 at night. Of course, I made food. She made my breakfast, though. I thought that was so sweet. She's the best at eggs, scrambled eggs. She makes them very light, fluffy, airy. Puts just the slightest hint of cheese in it, but, like you wouldn't say there's cheese in this egg, but it makes it creamy. I don't know where she learned that, but wow, she's good at it. And I had earlier, while she was still in bed, made some chicken sausages, which are tasty, tasty, tasty. I don't like chicken, and these are tasty. So we had chicken sausage and her eggs, which was very nice. That's kind of fluted looking, isn't it? So maybe I got to tell her about, she knows an older cousin of ours that to her is ancient because he's probably 74, 75, my cousin. And he was older than me. He was about 11 years older than me. But the house he lived at that's now tore down used to have like a, it's out in the country, but it had like an extra lot next to it. And they'd play, he came from a large family, and they'd play ball games and all kinds of things on that lot. And one time he was taking me for a bike ride around that. It's just, you know, bumpy, grassy lot. And my foot, I was about 6, I guess. And my foot got stuck in the spoke of the bicycle. And wow, I can still remember all the commotion. They had to take me to the hospital because my ankle was completely ripped up. And I've got a pretty, that whole ankle is scarred. So that's where it came from. And I still to this day will tease my cousin Mike about that. What he did to my foot. He says he doesn't remember it, but then he grins, so I'm sure he does. Oh, I did it again. Okay, Kathy. Quit this. I'll probably stick. Yeah, really, most of this book is, you know, done, but it's just got these little singular pages that you gotta kind of look between that didn't get covered. I did have a bunch in the front. Let me see if I still have some. See, and I could fill in these spots. And there's John F. Kennedy Jr. and his wife Carolyn. Got a bunch of American royalty, is what I call them, and British royalty. Here's one of my younger granddaughters and my oldest daughter. Basically seeing if there's any other pages up front here. Today is Gwenny had to go back home because she had a lock-in at church. She only stayed at until, oh, I could do that one, that's Maui. She only stayed at until midnight and then went home. There's a couple. Because she works, what would you call it, a horse farm on Saturdays. And the owners are going to be gone. A couple other people are either on vacation or out for surgery. So that left her and this other teenage girl take care of, I think she said 27 horses in their stalls. So she went home from the church lock-in at midnight and then had to be up, I think, at 7 to go and take care of the horses. She's probably still there right now. She loves animals and is very responsible. Anybody remember Spiegel's catalog? We're advertising Spiegel's catalog on the other side of this picture. don't know anything else. School will be starting. So maybe some of you got kids or grandkids that'll be starting school. I don't know what they've all decided about the masks. My Gwynny's mom, my youngest daughter, she works at a school, and her job through October is being an individual assistant to a special needs student. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, if it's physical, mental, emotional, special needs, but whatever it is, they need her to... I'm sorry about that shadow. I just now saw it. Oh, I don't have both lights on. I wonder if that would make a difference. Let me turn it on. I don't know if that helped or not. But in the meantime, we will plug along. And I'm literally just grabbing stuff out of my pile, which I think I've told you before. That's my favorite way. I'm not picking and choosing. I may pick and choose if there's two right in front of me, two pictures, but other than that, I just pick and choose what's there. I don't dig under the pile. You know what I'm trying to say. Just whatever's on top of the pile. So anyways, last year, this is high schooler that she's going to be assisting special needs with. Last year she was a teacher's assistant for preschoolers. There were a couple special needs kids in that, but she was just the general assistant teacher that helped with the kids. And of course, they were like 4, maybe 5 if they were a younger 5. I don't think they were 3. I think they were just before you'd go into kindergarten, so preschool. And this is going to be a new experience for her. My friend Jackie and I, Jackie of A Day in My Life, she and I are still on our diet. I think she said tomorrow is number 70. I have not followed it that whole 70 days, and she struggled during part of that 70 days. So we weren't perfect, but we both have been recently. As in the last couple weeks, we've been pretty close to absolute perfect, following our plan. We each have a different plan. Hers is plant-based, for her doctor put her on that. And mine is just basically watching what I eat, trying to mainly protein vegetables, and staying in a calorie deficit. And it's working. Probably lost altogether about 15 pounds. Not that you can tell it. Dawn says she can a little tiny bit. I told my daughter, I said, how I feel is like a tire that maybe has let some of the air pressure out. So I'm not feeling as... this is an old phone book that I just used. And I've so far just used the first half, because you can like tear the pages apart real easy and just start over. Once the glue dries on it, doesn't make it stick. Anyways, I'm very much enjoying being on this weight loss program, and I'm looking forward to being down a whole lot of weight. I haven't given myself a deadline or anything, since this is just probably the way I need to eat. And I'm not getting any younger. So it's going to be just a struggle to get it off in the first place, because as you get older, it's harder to lose. And I have never been an overly active person, so it's not like it's just going to drop off of me because now I'm busy and active. But I'm trying to be a little bit more than I was. Trying to just, in general, tighten my muscles up more and suck my stomach in, and besides maybe a little bit of walking, but mainly that's on the treadmill because it's very hot outside, and I don't do well walking outside on my own anyways. I'm too afraid something's going to happen. I'm going to fall, or I can't get myself up. I like being in the comfort of my home with the treadmill, or I have even walked in place. I don't know if any of you have done that, but Jackie had suggested it. And I did find that if you go on YouTube, you'll find a lot of stuff, a lot of exercises about just walking in place. And it's very doable. And I had seen 2 different news captions, or news, what would you call it? News on TV. News segments. Where one lady lost 85 pounds during the COVID just walking in place. Around her apartment. And it was a little apartment. It's like a 1-bedroom kind of retirement apartment. Of course, to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit or you're never going to lose weight. Just walking isn't going to do it. But it does keep you muscles a little toner. And the toner they are, then the easier it will be for your body to say, okay, I'm going to let go of this that I've been holding on to. Okay, when it starts getting sticky, it's time to turn the page. And if for some reason you would have a problem where it rips the page, which that didn't. I tell you, I've done this at least a dozen times on these pages. And it just keeps going. I think it's making the pages stronger, actually, with all the glue on it. Well, there's old Martha Stewart. What's the typewriter or calculator? Probably a calculator. Put that right there. So how are you doing, honey?
Okay.
He's over there.
Chilling like a villain.
He's chilling like a villain, he says. He is playing one of his video games where they're having a tournament. What's the name of that game?
Toon Blast.
Toon Blast. Okay, I want the Kellogg's Rice Krispies. And I do have a Kellogg's Rice Krispies I cut out somewhere here. I'll look for maybe 10 seconds, and if I don't see it, I'm going to move on with it. What I do want to do is this Honey Bunches of Oats. I put Kellogg's Rice Krispies. What I do want to do, let me look real quick here and see if that, yeah, there it is. I knew it wasn't very deep because it went with the words. My fingers will grab it. Papers are slick. That is a Rice Krispies idea. Okay, I'll put it up there. I want to use some washi tape today. I have a lot of washi tape because I love washi tape. Why I do, I don't know. It's just fun. If you do this kind of thing, you might think it's fun too. I'll put her a little, or it at an angle. All right. I have 2 drawers of washi tape. My daughter got me these holders, which I am not an organizer. So I just threw them loosely in here. And I think I've shown you this one before. It's kind of lacy stuff. I'm just going to stick with this. Good life. This is just a green and white. Almost like a camouflage. I'm trying to find the edge of it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Alright. This says, a sense of adventure is really about waking up every day, not with a sense of dread, but with a sense of possibility. I'm just happy when I wake up feeling like I'm glad I woke up and thankful to the Lord that I had a good night's sleep. So I'll just put it across there. I don't know. Isn't that adorable? I don't know what those came from, but they're cute. Oh, if any of you had any problem with the Dollar Tree, what's it called? I got some dried glue on my finger. Jots. They have rechanged their formula. They had a good formula, and then it got really awful. I think Linda of My Messy, maybe she'll say something in the comments and you can see My Messy something. Hardly can remember channel names, but luckily I have them in my subscription. But anyways, she was kind of noticing that too. It was like if it was a humid day in the house, or if it was, I don't know if it was affected by outside, but it was terrible. And now it's gotten real tacky and good again. So I think they put their formula back. I don't know what that is, so I'm throwing it away. There's another little piece I saw sticking out there, and it's a belt. Belt that's wrapped up. And then this, it's called Jumbo, and I got that from the Dollar Tree, Jumbo glue stick, and it is real good too. And I've been doing this now for a number of years. Honey, how many years do you think I've been doing this? 5, 6? When I started originally with doing this?
Probably about that.
And I've never had a page come loose. I've never had a page fall apart. I've never had a picture fall out of it. Boy, I'm ultra thirsty today. I have one more. Well, I got to take this beautiful baby right here. Put her in it. Oh, look at that baby. Oh, I remember I have a picture, I think, of me taking a bath in the sink. But I was a little bit older than that. But I'm going to use this one because she's kissing it. It says, the scents and moments that last a lifetime. And it has. I still remember being in the sink. And whether the family photo is what triggered that memory, I don't know, but it didn't let me forget it, which I think's what's good about taking pictures. Keeps that memory alive for you. Don and I, every once in a while, go through our family photos, and we get kind of excited about it, don't we, honey? Just seeing where we were at, where the kids were at. Maybe pictures of our old cars. And when I drove Gwenny past my grandmother's house, I took a picture of it. Whoever gotten it, it had kind of run down just a little bit. It's in a very, very nice neighborhood, but you know, it just looked like some elderly person lived there and didn't take care of it, which my grandmother always, or my uncle that owned the house actually, always made sure the house was well taken care of. But then whoever got it after my grandmother, they didn't do a lot of special things. And do we need a big Excedrin in front of that baby? I don't think so. I don't know. So, anyways, I almost cried because the house has been so well taken care of now, even though I hadn't really paid that much attention to it, even though I have been past it in the past few years. But what I almost, well, I did, I let out a shriek, was they didn't have the fence up that my grandmother had up, but they had kept the gate. And the gate has dogs on it. And I couldn't believe, and it looks old, it looks like it's from the early 60s when she had the gate installed. And I just wanted to park the car, walk up to the door, and go see my grandmother. Any of you ever had that experience? And no, you can't. Because they're not there. Somebody else is there now. Life has a way of marching on. But I did take a picture. I zoomed my camera in and took a picture of the gate, and it caught some of the backyard and caught the part of the kitchen window. If this was her house, there's a kitchen window right here, and there's a kitchen window right here, and then the sink in the kitchen went across this way, diagonal. And boy, do I have a lot of memories of having to do dishes. And I still, it was kind of fun because of the way this is a piece of ribbon I'm doing, by the way. I think I can do that little piece of ribbon too. And she had these kind of, my grandmother had these kind of cabinets where, and I have pictures of that, where it had an insert panel, you know, instead of just like a beveled panel, it was actually the insert panel could be taken out and rotated. And the back side had, like, it was either solid wood, or if you rotated it, it was wooden lattice work. So this would be like a solid piece of wood, and then you undid the clips on the inside, and you turned it over and put the clips back, and this was like wicker lattice. It was so cool. I've never ever seen that. And she also used to live in a house in a different part of this area that had, you can look it up online. There is a refrigerator that was double on the top cabinet. You know, you've got your top cabinet, your bottom cabinet, and your counter. Well, this refrigerator fit in like 2 of the top cabinets. So one side was the freezer and one side was the refrigerator. And you open the doors up like that. And that was in the very early 60s. So my uncle, which was her oldest son, took very good care of his mother when her marriage split up when I was 5. And he always made sure, and even though he had 5 growing children at the time, probably none of them quite teenagers, he always took care of his mom. He had a good job, but you can still have a good job and not take care of your mom. But I guess that shows what a good mom she was. Right, honey?
Yep.
And the same uncle, when Don and I got married, guess what our wedding gift was? It was amazing, wasn't it, honey?
Mm-hmm.
He gave us a beautiful 2-bedroom with a utility room apartment for a year to get us on our feet when we got married, because he loved Don so much. I'm sure he gave it for me too, but he just loved Don. He was so glad I had married him. You were loved, honey.
Well, I'm a lovable guy.
Is that your answer? Yeah. So we had a nice set off for our first year. And it was a lovely apartment. It had a kitchen, little dining room, living room, utility room, long hall, 2 bedrooms, a walk-in closet, and a bath, besides the other closet and a coat closet. I kind of want to put something over this. This is the one I'm waiting to use. That's the actress playing Aretha Franklin, but I still love that picture. Now, I think I'll cut that down a little bit. Even though it's more of a kitchen item, but I grabbed it, so that's what I'm going to use. So are any of you doing anything interesting or fascinating that you might want to make a comment in the comments. If you leave comments, and especially if I'm one of your followers, I will love that. And if you leave a comment and you have a YouTube channel and I'm not a follower, I will definitely be checking you out. All right, I think that's going to be it for right now. This one I thought was kind of cool. What I did is I put it on an envelope, and I can stick stuff in there. Probably could put something else up there. All right, well, that's it, you guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and comment if you would like. All right, bye-bye.